our first guest, our first developer, Sucker for Love by Joseph, aka Akabaka. Stay tuned for the trailer. Oh my god, I love that trailer. I literally feel like I'm about to sit down and binge an entire anime. Red, what did you think?
Entire anime. I thought it was incredible. Like, the theme song alone just sent me there, like, nostalgic wise. So I can't wait for us to chat with the creator, Joseph, aka Akabaka, Sucker for Love. How are you doing?
Hey guys, so yeah, like they said, I'm Akabaka. I'm Joseph Hunter. I'm the lead developer for Sucker for Love and Chromatos. I also do the programming and art, and I've been a game developer for about 4 or 5 years now.
Oh my gosh, when you say you do the art and the programming and you've only been doing it for about 4 or 5 years, I'm just blown away because your game looks, I know this sounds weird when people say it looks so professional, but like literally for somebody who just started not too long ago, it looks like something that would come out of like a AAA studio for a dating simulator, and I absolutely love it. One of my questions was, what made you decide to do a dating simulator as this game?
Right, so that's a really good question, and that's for the Sucker for Love was originally just a submission to DreadXP's DreadX collection, which is like a game jam. Only they chose who entered, and we were paid up front for it. And the theme for that game jam was love crafting, so it had to have love mechanics, crafting mechanics, and love crafting horror. I didn't have a whole lot of crafting experience. Like, I could have spent the entire 10-day runtime just making the logic for a crafting system, and so I decided, well, making items and then using them is kind of like crafting. So what kinds of games have both items that you create and use and love mechanics? And dating sims do. And so the only missing piece of the puzzle at that point was Lovecraftian horror. And so to put it all together, it's a dating sim about Lovecraftian horrors.
Oh my gosh. Well, the game is incredible. It's doing insanely well. If you guys don't know, it's already up on Steam, so go get it. You just released a new DLC, and we're going to take a look at some of the gameplay. Red is going to handle that like she's the pro at this. So, Red, let's get started. And if we have any questions, we have Joseph here to help us out as we go through it.
Yes.
So, Joseph, can you tell us a little bit about the design, the art style? Because I know it's very influenced by anime, but tell us like why you picked the characters you picked, how, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, what really influenced you in the way that you picked your characters, like Ln'eta and then like some of the other ones.
Yeah, so ultimately Sucker for Love was a love letter to 3 things. It was Lovecraftian horror, dating sims, and anime. And so all of the characters and design choices that show up usually are some sort of callback to one of those 3. Like the art style itself is very similar to Urusei Yatsura and Golden Boy to like 90s anime. And then the main character himself, personality-wise, is very similar to Kintaro from Golden Boy. So when it comes to design choices, usually something here is kind of directly influenced by something that I really loved watching in the 90s or so.
That's incredible. It's nice to see that you can take things that you really like felt inspired you and you've put them all into this game and they just work seamlessly. Like I've never seen a dating game like this before. And some of the things that I really noticed was how you have to set up the room and set up places
Right.
in order to conduct some of these spells. So Red is going through that right now. She just pulled up the book. Can you talk a little bit about the gaming mechanics and how you go about like furthering your gameplay?
Yeah, so you touched on it, but all of the design choices, including the mechanics in the book, are all kind of here so that anime, Lovecraftian horror, and dating sims, which is three genres kind of known for being kind of difficult to get into, being a little bit obtuse. Trying to make this as fun and accessible a romp through all three of those at once. And so this ritual system ideally is, in the words of Toby Fox, designed to be a game that your older sister could play. Like it's and that's kind of the angle I took with every element being the depths of Lovecraftian horror or the anime references, is that your older sister would essentially be able to walk away and be like, oh, I understand what Cthulhu is and sort of the basics of cosmic horror now. So basically accessibility was the big target. And fun fact that did work, especially for the original demo, we had like the achievement statistics on each of the games, and 80% of people that bought the Dread X Collection 2 completed Sucker for Love, compared to the 40% average.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And I think accessibility is really, really important when you're playing a game. I just wanted to point out one of the things I absolutely love, like one of the mechanics I love, is when you use the mouth to read out the spells. I just thought that was like incredible because I don't know why, but every time you get to that part, I'm like, what's it going to sound like this time? So one of my questions, which I know is probably weird, but like it's in a different kind of language. How did you come about with doing that? Like, you could have just done it without it saying anything, but like what made you decide to actually get those words out there? Because I really feel like I'm like casting a spell when I'm playing this game.
So I actually referenced known Rillian.
Okay.
I reverse engineer lots of stuff. Like if you remember the King in Yellow play from the second chapter, that's not an actual play that really exists. I went back and looked up everything that's known about the play, and then kind of built it on my own using like trochaic octameter, things that make it sound like real art. Likewise with the spells and everything, or when she's teaching you Rillian, I looked up known phrases in Rillian and what they mean, and then kind of figured out in reverse, okay, so then this means that means that, and if I want to say this, then I use this word, and that word. And it makes it feel a little authentic when you're doing the spells and you're reading the that's my favorite scene.
That's wild. I literally thought the play was a real play. Like you did so. That's incredible. Okay, so jumping from that, let's talk a little bit about the voicing, because all of the main characters have voice actresses and they're incredible. They absolutely slay it. Please send like kudos to them from us. Tell us about that. How did you go about picking them and finding the right tone to fit those personalities?
Right, so I already knew the voice actress for Ln'eta, who's Michaela Laws, because she'd been playing my other game, Chromatos, on stream for a while. It's like the only reason that I started getting like attention on Chromatos, because she was like kind of a big streamer, and this was my first game. So we kind of go back a ways, and so while I was working on this game for the jam, she had volunteered to lend her voice to it, since it was kind of a small, quick and dirty project. And when the reception was really good, we brought her back for the full game, and she, knocked the whole game out of the park too. Then for Esther, I had played this other game, River City Girls by Way Forward Games, And
Oh, I love
while I
that
was
game.
playing it, I kept getting distracted because all of the voices were so good. And I was like, I kept pausing so I could jot down, okay, this character's voice is really good for this. And when I was coming around for casting for Sucker for Love, the first date, I just kind of went through that short list of people and landed on Kaylee Mills, checked out the other stuff that she had done, brought her in for an audition, and she landed the role without me ever auditioning anybody else. Because it was just a really good audition. I
It
knew
just
she was going to
fit.
kill it. Yeah, and then
I
the
think you
last
did a
one
great
I
job.
had, yeah, even for the last one I had two people in mind, but neither of them were available or didn't get back to me. And so the thing that they had in common that I was really looking for was that they were women over 40 or 50. And so I just kind of put on my Twitter, hello, is there any VAs kind of in my mutuals that is over 40 or 50 years old? Because I really wanted for Auntie Nyan to feel like it's really a bigger, someone senior or superior to you talking down to you. And the best way to get that feeling is to have someone that is actually older than you deliver these lines. And
Yeah,
Lonnie
that
Manella made
comes
a post
across.
say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Lonnie Manella was like, how can I help you? And then her post got like 20, 30, 60 likes. And I was like, who is this? And then I look up her roles, and she's like Rouge the Bat, Ivy Valentine. She's in Blizzard games. She's in all sorts of games. Like, oh, she's everybody ever. And she also did the audition and killed it, and I didn't bother auditioning anybody else. And then she went ahead to deliver probably the most popular performance in Sucker for Love so far. Everyone's kind
Oh
of
yeah,
gaga
no.
for Auntie Nyanya.
I love her. Like she's like she takes names and like puts you in your place like immediately, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
The attention to detail that you've put into this game really shows how much of a passion project this is for you. Can you tell us a little bit about future projects or possibly like things that you might add on? Because I feel like this is a game that could go on and on. Like I said, I could binge it like an anime. So please tell me there's
Mm-hmm.
more.
There is more, and it's coming up maybe this winter. It's going to be Sucker for Love, the second one, which is Date 2 Die For. And it's this one's about the Black Goat of the Woods. It features a new protagonist, a new love interest, new threats. And this one is actually going to be kind of interesting because normally when you see a Lovecraftian horror game, it's all about Cthulhu this, Outer Gods that, so on and so forth. When you actually look at Lovecraft's work, you see a good chunk of them are actually just about people or demi-humans, like Shadow over Innsmouth or Dunwich Horror. And so for the second game, the threats are mainly going to be enemy cultists and other human beings driven mad by the effects of these outer gods, as opposed to the outer gods themselves, in an attempt to kind of do Lovecraft's writings justice.
That's incredible. I really want to learn more about it just because I've heard about it, but I this game really made me want to like get into it and like learn like what you picked from it and how it like influenced your game. So like I can tell through the art style, but like I really want to get into the lore. So I'm really excited to see the next game that you drop or the next DLC that you drop for it. I'm going to throw it to Red. Red, do you have any questions? Because you've been doing a great job playing the game, and I know I've been taking up so much time. So
That's
yeah.
okay. That's all right. Yeah. So basically, like, just me experience. This is my first like dating game. Period. Like, so I just love how, of course, the art style is giving me Inuyasha, Sailor Moon ish. Like, I love that nostalgic '90s vibe, early '90s. But like, he's not scared at all. Like the character's not scared at all. That this Cthulhu, first of all, she had looked like a straight up demon out of nowhere, just come up. He's okay with summoning things, and he wants to kiss this scary thing that's in his room. Was there any like what themes involve? Of course, the theme is Lovecraft, but what's something that you wanted to kind of bind in together, because it is a cute, lovable looking game, but there's some sinister like darkness to it as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot there. One thing that was kind of really nice about the DreadX collections was that while it was only 10 days long, it was our benefit that it was only 10 days long, so we could do something kind of zany. Like, I could make a game where, I don't know, you have a girl with a squid on her face and you have to kiss her or something crazy like that. And that came from personal taste, where kind of monster girls are getting really popular these days, but a lot of times they kind of wimp out on making them monsters. If they say, oh yeah, this is a Necromata, like a cat monster girl, they'll take like a regular anime girl, and then put cat ears on her and call it a day. Or actually, with Lovecraft specifically, they have Hayori Nyako-chan, which is it's literally an anime about a bunch of girls that are Lovecraftian, like gods and monsters. But if you looked at their designs, you'd never be able to guess which one was which at all, because they don't resemble monsters. They just look like regular girls. And so one thing I really wanted to do, especially since there was like minimal risk with this game, was make a monster girl that looks like a monster girl. And ideally, when I had all of the characters laid out side by side, someone who knows nothing about Lovecraft would be able to match each character with a picture of the monster they're based on kind of easily. And then the other design choice that you had touched on, Red, was the main character is not like terrified of Ln'eta, and he just wants to kiss. So that, while also like funny, was deliberate because it's a mainstay of Lovecraftian horror for the main character to be obsessed with something to the point of insanity. So in his case, he's obsessed with getting a smooch, no matter how scary the situation or what's at stake. And so while really funny, it's also lore accurate.
Got it. That's great.
Like, the way you were able to make the monsters look lovable and cute and still keep like that whole vibe going was really, really good. Because I don't know how I would have made a squid face look adorable, and Ln'eta is super adorable. Like, I have no problem with him kissing her, because I'm like, that makes sense. She's attractive.
Yeah.
You know?
That was actually really hard when I was doing the original designs, because I thought the angle to go about it was to make them like really sexy at first, but when you take something creepy and try to make it sexy, you just make something creepier, unfortunately. Yeah. And so I had to
like
kind
the
of
nurses in Silent Hill.
I mean, but but Silent Hill's a good example. It'd be really easy to take like Pyramid Head and then make him like chibi and cutesy and like, I don't know, holding a pumpkin, and now it's like super cute, and, like really easily. And so I started trying to twist things to a really, like pinkish, very cute, very adorable, big eye sort of cutesy anime in order to make
I love
these eldritch horrors attractive. Yeah.
You did a great job. It looks amazing. So the last question I wanted to ask you to just touch on really quickly is, I know you have a lot of like Japanese influence, anime influence, and they're really not known to put a lot of minorities in their games or movies. Do you plan on putting more minorities in future games?
The next protagonist of Sucker for Love is a black female. So yes.
Hey.
Love it. Awesome. I can't wait for that to drop. Well, we are running out of time. So before we end this, Joseph, if people want to find you, find out more about you, find out more about the games that you're going to be producing, can you go ahead and plug your socials for us?
Right. So Sucker for Love First Date is out on Steam. If you wanted to try it before buying it, there is a Sucker for Love Prelude also on Steam, which is a free demo. For updates on what's coming down the pipe for Sucker for Love or Chromatos, I have my Twitter, which is @ChromatosDev. And on my Twitter, I've linked my Discord, where there's content, fan art, and all sorts of stuff. So if you want to sort of keep up with what's coming, either check out my Discord or check out my Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, spending some time with us, and showing us about Sucker for Love. Yeah, that was amazing. Joseph, you're incredible. Cannot wait to see
you
more
so much.
games.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Thanks for the interview.